out there, VIP Kid land. This is Teacher Christy back again with VIP Kid Awesome. Hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe and like. This will let me know that you guys want to keep listening to my daily blog on everything VIP Kid. So it's wonderful summer in Minnesota. The flowers are coming out. The birds are chirping. The smell of barbecue. And you know what that means in Minnesota? Tornadoes. Tornado drills and extreme thunderstorms. One of the great things about Minnesota is we are an extremely temperamental climate. If you don't like the climate in Minnesota, just wait. It'll change. And we have some very violent storms and some very violent weather. And then it got me thinking about emergency preparedness and what that means in terms of your job. I see on Facebook or on the forums all the time, people go, my power went out, my cable went out, and VIP Kid says, sorry, too bad. And I have a little bit of empathy for that, but I also have a little bit like, okay, here's the thing. You need to be prepared for emergencies. You're the boss now. What is your emergency preparedness plan? Emergencies will happen. It's not a if this happens, it's a when. You will have weather events. You will have power outages. You will have internet outages. You will have family emergencies. This is what living is about, and VIP Kid still expects you to teach. So one of the big tips I'll give you is if your emergency did not make at least the local news, don't bother. Power outages in your neighborhood don't count from VIP Kid's perspective. You know, localized problems, just don't bother. If it didn't make national news or at least local news, it probably does not count under the emergencies. So you need to be prepared. There are 3 ways you need to be prepared. Number 1, you need to make sure that your internet is working. 2, you need to make sure that your electricity is working. And 3, you need to make sure that your equipment is working. So here's what you do. Internet, the first issue, always have 2 sources of internet. Always, always, always if you can. In my house, I have a wired internet. I also have a mobile hotspot. If you don't know how to use a mobile hotspot, learn. Almost all of your cell phone providers will provide them. Even if you have to pay for them, they will save your job. You will get your money back. You're not going to make money for that class, but you're not going to lose your contract. So my mobile hotspot, I'm a big fan of T-Mobile. T-Mobile gives it for free. You have 2 sources of internet. Because my internet might go out, my router might go out. It will happen. So I can switch immediately to my mobile hotspot. Is it ideal? No. Do I generally want to teach classes on my mobile hotspot? Not really. It's a bit slow. It's not the same experience. But I'm still there for the student. And so you want that backup plan. And you want that backup plan that you can do fast. So figure out how to use that. You need to have another backup plan to that backup plan. For me, I've got a friend a mile and a half away. She's totally on board. I say, hey, if there's an emergency, if something's happening, can I come to your house and use your internet? Additionally, I know which coffee shops have internet access. I know the hospital waiting rooms and where I can hide to have class. Always looking for how can I do this? How can I make this work? When you're looking at hotels, make sure you check the internet speed. They'll say they have high-speed internet and you get there and it's terrible. So always check before you check in. But I know which hotels in my neighborhood have that in case it's a long-term problem. So make sure that you are putting these places into action like you would a fire evacuation plan. Number 2, you need to have electricity. Electricity is what runs your modem and your computer and your lights. It's incredibly important. Again, this is another easy fix. I absolutely positively think everybody needs an uninterrupted power supply, at the very least for your modem and your router. This will protect you from so many problems. But basically, you plug it in the wall, you plug in your modem and your router. It's a power surge, but it also is a battery. So if, like I trip fuses often, if the fuse trips, it automatically switches to your modem and router, to the battery, and you don't lose power, you don't lose the students, you don't lose internet. It can run about 3 hours, my modem, my router, and my laptop. It can also run lights. And it pays for itself in one morning. One morning missed classes will pay for this device. I actually have 2. If you have a desktop, I would suggest you have 2. One set aside just for your desktop. This is going to save you a huge hassle. But in addition to that, I have a mobile power supply, which again is, I think, $30 on Amazon. And it can run my computer and my router for about an hour. all of these backup plans will eventually save you. And if you're like me and you want to make a run of this, you want to make a decent amount of money at this, you need to do this to protect your job. These things aren't expensive and they're not hard to use. You just need to learn about them. So having that electrical backup plan, know what you're going to do. If you live somewhere where you know the power's going out, you need a generator. So make sure that you're having that stable access. And then the third thing is to make sure your equipment's working. I have this great thing. I have a bug out kit. I have a VIP bug out kit. It's like this. It contains every cable, every connector, extension cords, Ethernet cables, backup headphones, backup chargers, backup. Okay, everything goes in this little kit. I keep it on my shelf. If something comes up, like I've had to take my friend to surgery, and I can't get out of my classes, but, you know, hospitals are great places to teach, by the way. Little waiting rooms, you can hide. Excellent. One of my favorite places to do emergency teaching. But I'm going to grab my bug out kit and my computer and I'm good. I have everything I need right there to run out the door and to have what I need. For example, I'm going to my nephew's graduation today, and I scheduled classes after his graduation. I normally wouldn't do that, but I spaced it. I'm preoccupied with Thailand. And I can make it back in time, and I will. But my time frame's a little bit short. My time frame, it does not allow for like car problems or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my backpack, put my computer, throw my bug out kit in my backpack, put it in my trunk. Probably get back in time, everything will be great. But if something happens, I'm on the side of the road, all I have to do is be able to log into my class. And even if you log in your class and you can message a fireman and say, hey, I'm having an IT issue, you're not getting a no-show. You're not getting your contracts threatened. You may not be able to teach in that situation, but at the very least you can log in and you can communicate to the fireman and you can avoid that no-show. So having that equipment with me will save me. I'm sure I won't need it, but I have it. I have it, and I have it when I go other places. And the last suggestion I have for you, okay, if you're flying somewhere, you're traveling internationally, you're moving, for goodness sake, plan about 4 times longer than you need. Because planes get stuck, it gets rerouted, you get stuck in Dubai. Who knows what happens? Just don't risk it. You can always pick up short-term classes, but you can't reschedule classes already scheduled. So, for example, I'm going to Thailand. I have 6 days before my first scheduled class. 6 days to get settled, 6 days for plane problems, 6 days to make sure the internet works. I can certainly add back those classes, but I can't take them away. So make sure that you're thinking far in advance. A lot of times hotels will tell you they have wonderful internet and they don't. What's your plan? So that's my thought for today. What's your bug out plan? What's your emergency preparedness plan? I hope you never need to use it, but if you do, hope this helps. Bye for now.